your kids are 5 and 11. You're, a bit ahead, like we mentioned earlier. Has things changed? Um, because my child is still very young. I think moms of younger children always think, okay, does things get better, or what is better?
Is there hope on the horizon? Will I ever sleep again?
Will I sleep? Will I move on to the next step? Career wise, or does my career stop? Now that you have this I think you've transited out of the early parenting stage, right?
Right,
How
right.
different?
So I think from a career standpoint, I guess my perception is that not much has changed. I've continued to pursue the things that I wanted to pursue, and as with anyone, sometimes successful, sometimes not successful, and just continue to go down that path.
Right.
But I don't have the perception that my family situation has had an impact on that. I would say just when your kids get older, they become much more cognizant of the choices that you're making.
Okay.
So, when babies and toddlers are in whatever care they're in when you're not there, typically they're very happy. They're very, caregivers, of course, are very nurturing, and so they're not necessarily aware if were supposed to come at lunchtime and then you had a meeting run over and you couldn't come.
Right.
That's not a thing that happens.
Right.
Um, they're not aware of it. But when your child is 11 or 5 or whatever, and you're supposed to be somewhere and work gets in the way, they're very cognizant that
They can
that's
they can read the time now, right? They know that
right,
5 hours
right,
instead of 20 minutes.
right. And so that becomes a discussion. It becomes a discussion with your children about how families prioritize and how families think about the long term, and how sometimes short term decisions, may not be optimal based on what's important in the long term, or vice versa. When we're able to make those choices that that deprioritize a work situation in order to prioritize a family situation, there's a recognition that this is something that's important. This is a choice. This is something that we all have to deal with. So
Right.
it does become different. We were talking earlier about just the simple fact of how frequently your children are sick, and baby and toddler stage, that's a huge aspect, and it becomes very difficult from a work-life balance perspective because it's a constant factor.
Right.
So that's not as much of a factor as they get older, but then they have other activities and things that they're doing that are important that they want you to be a part of, that that take place during work time. And so that becomes it's always a set of choices. It's just really kind of a matter of what those choices look like.